What's up, guys? It's your boy Palacio,
It's the boy Eli.
and we are here for episode 10 of Palacio Podcast. 10. Long time coming. It feels good. Like, now we're in the double digits,
Yeah.
being consistent with it.
I don't think we got this high the first time we did this.
No, I think we stopped at like 4 or
Yeah.
5. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you've watched any of our previous videos, we very much appreciate it.
Kept up with us this far.
Yeah. We usually like to be, talk about news, stuff going on, our opinions on everything, and it's usually funny and everything. But we figured that it needed to be talked about. So we're recording this on Tuesday, the 28th, and yesterday, Monday, 27th, there was a shooting in Nashville, a school shooting. In order to be honest with ourselves, we can't just ignore it, because that's kind of the problem. Ignoring what's going on and then never really finding a solution. It just keeps on happening. So we're going to talk about the shooting. For those of you who typically don't want to discuss something so dark, because it is kind of heavy, we're trying to have an open, honest conversation about it. This is just our own two opinions. No one else, nothing related to us. It's just our own thoughts on it. We are trying to be as respectful and honest about it. Obviously, there were people who lost their lives, and that's very unfortunate. Our prayers go out to the families who lost their lives, and
Most def. It's sick to see this over and over again. We just had an incident last week, once again in our own backyard of Lamar High School. 15-year-old boy shot and killed at school. And then a few days later, this pops up again, and I think it's 3 9-year-olds is what they said, and 3 adults. I'm not sure how old they were, but even at that, it's...
We were talking about when we went to high school, people, I'm aware of people who brought guns to school, but it wasn't like...
It was never used, it was just like someone trying to be cool, like, hey, look what I got. It's stupid. It's stupid, don't get me wrong, but... Because, like, my first big one that I remember was the Colorado one, when Batman came out.
Yeah, the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
In the movie theater, and that sucks too. But I think what we really wanted to discuss about was the school shooting specifically, because you're talking about kids, you're talking about children. There's no more innocent than children just trying to learn and go to school. There's
especially absolutely 9 years old. Like that's.
And
that's crazy.
If you guys watch my last podcast, or even one before that, my wife and I just had a kid. Like my son just turned 1 month old a couple days ago, and until we discussed it before the podcast today, it wasn't even something in my mind like that's like a possibility.
Like your boy's gonna go to public school, in 6 years, 5 years, whatever.
And I think that ignoring the problem
is what got us here.
Yeah, it's just like it happens, and we talk about it, and everybody on the right,
it's thoughts and prayers,
says something, and everybody on the left says something opposite, and they're going against each other, and nothing really gets done. And it's like it's a problem with mental health, or it's a problem with the guns, and we need to do all this and that. But so me and Eli, we did a little bit of research on this. We looked at some news articles. We looked at the body cam footage from the police officers that were involved. If we happen to say something that's not true, we're not trying to mislead anybody. We're just got our facts wrong. But this is just the information that we saw. So if it's like 3 9-year-olds, if they happen to be like 8 or 7, and then one was 9, or like it was 3 kids or like 2 adults.
Yeah,
like,
I saw.
It was
I saw 3
it's only the information that we saw. So if it's factually different, we apologize in advance.
But the facts are, it's 3 kids, 3 adults. Like that's what it is. The ages could fluctuate here and there, but
I don't know if that includes the shooter.
No, so like I was on lunch break at work when this was going down, and then like they were interviewing like the chief of police or someone that was on scene, and he was 3 kids, 3 adults, and then the shooter. So 7 total, but it was like 6 victims from the shooter.
So I'm just gonna give you a quick overview of what I understood to be the turn of events, pretty much. So there was Monday, 27, 28-year-old adult.
I think 28.
Yeah, 27 or 28-year-old adult. The news is making a big deal out of their trans. I don't give a damn. It makes no difference to me. No. So it was a 27, 28-year-old who used to go to this Christian school, and he brought some guns. I think it was 2. maybe 2 firearms to the school.
Two or three. One pistol and like 2 like, I guess like the assault rifle or
I think it was an AR.
Yeah.
But he brought firearms to the school. He shot through the outside doors, broke glass, came in, and then from what I saw, we saw the body cam footage of the officers clearing the hallways, clearing the doors. They went upstairs. They saw the shooter. One officer shot at him, and shooter went down, and then that's pretty much what we saw. They made sure that they unarmed the firearms from within reach, and that's pretty much the turn of events that I saw just based on the footage that they released not too long ago. Me and Eli were talking about ways that this can be prevented, and I know a big majority of it is talking about the guns, obviously, about gun control, about the mental health. Like I said, a lot of people were in the news community that we mentioned, they were putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that this person was transgender. I can speak for myself, and I know Eli. I've known Eli for 20 years. We do not care if you're gay, straight, bi, transgender, and alien. It doesn't matter. That should not play any bearing into the way that this is coming out. Like,
who cares? Like, they did a heinous act. Doesn't matter about that.
Whether the fact that they're even making that a point, and I can almost see how, talking about from a mental health aspect, that it could play a factor, but it has nothing to do with the facts that a person came into the school with the intent to do harm to individuals, saw innocent lives, and decided to kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, those are just, it doesn't have anything to do. Anyway, and me and Eli were talking about like what can be done. Obviously, gun control is a big one, but first 10 seconds of the video, there was no police officer or security that we saw in the videos prior to him entering the school. The doors, they may or may have been locked. It didn't look like he checked. And then he opened fired into the window.
Yeah.
First off, if you're trying to prevent someone to go in, those are just regular windows. You can shoot into them. You can throw a rock into them. They will break and you can enter. It is more of like a delusion of security than actual security. I mean, anybody who truly wanted to get in can get in. So the fact that we have standards for fire safety with schools or any like modern building that's being built, the fact that we don't have a nationwide tightening on the way that a school is required to be built, like bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
And even saying that, like right now, it coming out of my mouth, it makes me upset that even has to be discussed.
It's a nasty thing to have to say, but it's the reality we live in, and that's the hard part about the conversation, is when you have to say, bulletproof glass, steel doors on classrooms. Like, that shouldn't have to be a conversation.
Yeah.
But it is. Like, to me, it's a legitimate conversation. You can't just say, oh, it's guns. Like, yeah, it's guns, but like, you have to have preventions. There's preventions for everything. Like, there has to be a conversation about preventions in school for it. Yeah, you can have all the drills that you want, but if it's just wood and drywall that you have to go through, it's not that hard.
And me and Eli talked about this maybe for, I don't know, an hour and a half before. So this is us being calm because, like, obviously talking about it, we got emotional about it and upset. And
yeah, we're talking about kids, man. Like we're saying, when we were growing up back in high school, like, it wasn't really a thought of like, holy shit, someone can come in here and that's it. What am I gonna do? It wasn't really a thought. As I got older, like, I think about certain situations. Like, if something happened when I'm out at a bar or I'm out at the mall, like, what would I do?
Yeah.
But in high school, I was 13 years old going into high school. 13-year-old me is not thinking about
Yeah.
something like that. I'm thinking about having fun with my friends. What's for lunch? What are we doing after school?
Worrying about the next test that's coming
Yeah,
up.
like you should not have.
Or...
I couldn't imagine being a kid today in this day and age, having or hearing like a loud thud. You know, hearing a loud thud and like, holy shit, like, what is that? Like, are we the next school to be on the news?
Yeah. And the open information I'm gonna give is like for anyone in our generation, so it's not like secrets of like keeping kids safe. But we had shelter in place drills. Like we went to school in Texas, and like basically if there was a school shooter, we were told shelter in place, nobody move. You lock the doors, nobody makes any noise. You don't let anybody in.
Shut the lights off.
Shut the lights off. And that was basically like, okay, that's what we have. If somebody gets through the door, the teacher's gonna do the best that they can to try to protect everybody, and
that's it. But like even at that, like let's keep it 100% a bug. What is that doing for somebody that has malicious intent?
Hoping that it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
it's being ignorant to the fact that can happen, and it just makes no sense. For there are certain places, whether you carry or don't carry in the state of Texas, that you just cannot carry, like government facilities.
I think banks.
What is it? Hospitals, stuff like that. Like, we have all this money for taxes. We pay so much taxes.
Yeah,
and like, I don't know where the money
we're talking
goes.
About off cam is like if we knew for a fact our taxes were going to have extra security, like be able to pay for extra security at schools. Mm-hmm. I don't see nobody bitching about that.
Yeah, that's like
that's what my taxes should be like, going for.
Yeah, Social Security or taxes, state tax, federal tax, all that BS. If it was like a school taxes, like I don't know, everybody took out $5 and we could pay for more officers at schools, better improvement to like the doors, bulletproof glass, training, like proper training. I don't think anybody would disagree.
No, I mean, like once again, it sucks. Like it sounds so shitty that you have to say this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it's the reality that we're living in.
And the whole thing is built on is the delusion of safety right now. I mean, when we were in high school, how many times if somebody was like, if you were by your door and you're not supposed to let anybody in, but we're like kids. If you see somebody walking out and they're like, hey, like, can you get the door for me? 99% of the time, you're just gonna open the door.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, it's another student. It's whatever.
So there should be ways to prevent that. Like 90% of our school on the outside was glass. Like you can just throw a brick in that thing, and then you're in. And then there's like, from what I saw in the video, they had a very good response time to the school, and it was like beginning to end. It seemed like it wasn't like an hour's.
Yeah, I think they said it was like a 14-minute thing.
But for somebody to respond initially for that call and just try to get a grasp of the situation, who's there, we had officers at our high school. Yeah. I think there was like 1 or 2 full-time officers.
And there's a couple that just dabble in here and out.
Yeah, and we had...
I want to say there's total maybe... I want to say 4. I would like to say there was at least... Mm-hmm. I know there's 2.
Yeah.
But I would say like during like certain days or like before like spring break or something, I know like there were a little bit more there because, fights are going to happen. It's kids, whatever. But that's mostly like what it was there for. It was like to help break up fights and shit like that. It was never like, oh yeah, we have police here in case someone has to come in and kill me. Like that, it just never crossed my mind. I don't see how people who have kids or have kids in school right now have siblings in school. Like that, it has to be scary. Like sending them off to school, and you're like,
I don't know how to like tell my son when he grows up. Like, okay, if
like you're hoping that's not even a problem when your son grows up though, because we're talking like 5-6 years down the line, but shit, we've been having this problem for like damn near 10 years.
Yeah, and this isn't the first school shooting that there's like it happens every year. There's dozens, and people on the right will bitch, people on the left will bitch. They'll argue with each other, but there's nothing that gets fixed. And it's like,
because like the simple thing, like I said, a quick like we'll call it a Band-Aid, even more security. Mm-hmm. Simple. It's not much of a
better fortification, security on the entries and exits of the building.
Like it's it seems like that's a logical thing, and I don't want to hear a conversation about who's gonna pay for that. Where's the money coming from? Our kids here is like that's the future
It's
of this
not a
country.
money issue. It
Shouldn't be.
There's so
that's
much,
a weak conversation.
like to be honest, if you really know how money works, like it's not something material. It's just paper now, and we give it value because it has value, and we continue to go into debt, and you know
what's going into debt? A couple more million. We're $35 trillion in debt, whatever it is.
Whatever your political stance is on guns, whether you should have them, have the right to carry them, not have the right to carry them. We're not really. I don't really care about that stance, but when you have people who are making decisions whether to carry or not carry a gun, and tell you that you have the right to carry or not carry a weapon, but they have 24-hour security for them and their families with people who carry guns.
Because these people are so
ridiculous.
out of touch. They don't live in the reality that the normal person lives in.
I cannot. If I was in charge, like let's say I was the king of the world, and and I had 24-hour security, armed guards, the whole 9 yards. Who am I to tell somebody that they don't have the right to do the exact same thing and protect themselves? It makes no sense. I understand if people think that, all guns should be banned, or some people who think that every gun should be legal. We should just all have guns. You're born, you get assigned a gun. Like from the right to the left. I do not agree with everybody's opinion, but I am open to listen to anyone's opinion. Because I do not consider myself an expert, and I've only experienced my own life, so I can't judge somebody based on what they believe because that's how they were raised. Yeah,
because their situation is different.
But I have no right, and no one else should have the right to tell me that I cannot protect myself or my family. It makes no sense. Yeah. When the person who is telling me that has their family protected by guns, it makes no sense. And especially when it comes to children, why is this a problem? There's so much we can do. We have, military bases. We have police stations. We have, like I said, government buildings that are protected 24/7. Constantly, there's redundancies in place for something like this. And this doesn't, it becomes an issue and then it goes away. And then it becomes an issue and it goes away. But, nothing gets fixed.
It's just thoughts and prayers. And then wait a couple months, the next one happens. Same conversation, thoughts and prayers. Mm-hmm. Next one happens. Yeah. Like this, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's frustrating. Like why this keeps happening, and it's the same shit over and over again. Yeah. Nothing seems to change with it.
And me and Eli had the conversation about, a couple of years ago, it was brought as an idea to arm teachers. That's something that I think me and Eli have slightly different opinions on, which is okay because, open a conversation. Yeah. We've never been in that position, so we don't know if it would be a good idea, if it would be a bad idea, if his ideas are right, my ideas are right. Who knows? But I think starting the conversation and trying to
get somewhere with it.
Yeah. Why isn't that being done? Every time that this happens,
it shouldn't be just a little topic for a few days. Yeah, it shouldn't. This should have been fixed years ago. I don't even have kids, bro.
I don't even know if it's something that can be fixed, but it can definitely be improved.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're never not.
Well, because think about it. If you're not doing shit and you do something, you're looking at improvement. The whole we talk about 1% better. Mm-hmm. We haven't got 1% better in this in 6 years, 7 years.
If the crime's never going to go away, you're always going to have bad people that do bad things, but there's
precautionary steps that you can take.
Why wouldn't small steps forward be the goal? Why is it still standard?
We shouldn't be at step one still.
If you are a principal or a mayor or an elected official and you see this happening, and you have some power to even talk about a change, and you are not doing that, I don't understand. I don't think it's necessarily a problem with the guns and access to I mean, you look at like
no, but that it's gonna go. It's gonna go that way.
Yeah,
though.
but you look at like the United Kingdom, people like there's stabbings all the time.
Yeah.
If you don't have guns, you have knives. If you don't have knives, people can still be like ran over with cars. Like it's people who have bad intentions.
They're gonna find a way to do things,
but that I don't think that's like that's a big hurdle to get over when it comes to guns.
I mean, yeah.
When it comes to guns, there's a lot of differing opinions. There's a lot of influence that goes into it, like you were saying. But when it comes to the security and upgrade of security for schools, everybody can get behind that.
Oh, yeah.
If you were to tell someone, if you were to say, maybe we should have bulletproof glass, in every school, make that a mandate, just like we have certain fire codes that they're required to put, the doors that you put into schools, they're supposed to be rated for this amount of fire for this long, same thing for that. You can have access of like via badges in and out of schools in every entry and exit. Only teachers can be allowed to have people inside. Like, why isn't that small stuff like that?
The badges and bulletproof glass right there, like that would have prevented the shooting right here.
Additional officers at schools so they can respond there and not have to wait for other officers to I'm not 100% sure, but from what I understand, where we were at, there was an officer, at least one, in the school at all times. Yeah. That's from what I understand. The school's a huge place. If you add a second officer, or even if you don't have security there, like, nobody's going to say, don't add more security. This isn't a discussion that's up for debate by a whole bunch of people, like the gun topic. It's protecting children.
Yeah.
So
even at that, it's protecting teachers. If you ask teachers, like, hey, do you think we should have more security at your school?
Oh, yeah. Like you said,
yes.
Kids nowadays are wilding.
Yeah.
You see all the videos of, like, kids talking to their teachers and, starting fights with their teachers and faculty staff. I wouldn't want to be a teacher right now.
No.
And, to have extra security for stuff like that, even small, like, we're not going up to school shooting, but even, like, fights and stuff. Why wouldn't more security not be warranted?
That would probably help prevent more fights.
Like I said,
don't those fights that lead into like certain stuff, like the Timberview one where the kid was getting bullied or something and the fight broke out in the class. I mean, in the classes, it's hard to have more security being present in the classroom. But like when we were growing up, it was always in the commons. There was always fights.
Yeah.
More security, more people there. It kind of, deters that. You're just going to have your special situations, but to me, more security is it's the obvious, glaring, quick fix.
Yeah, and it's not like you're taking away anyone's rights or it's not like it's like I said, it's not like you're taking away anyone's rights. It's not like it's changing anything drastically. You're just adding better security to protect.
And then
children.
You're helping create jobs.
Like what is one negative thing aside from the financial challenge for the school system that additional security wouldn't provide? Like, what is it? I can't think of a single one. Like, you're gonna have to pay.
The only thing I could think of is like, oh, but it shouldn't be necessary. Well, too fucking bad it is.
Yeah,
like it is necessary at this point.
To pretend like the problem isn't there only exacerbates the problem.
Yeah. And like we were saying earlier, the funding about it is a stupid conversation. It's a weak conversation. There's money for it.
And I know that this is a topic that a lot of people have strong opinions. And if you disagree with what we're saying, please let us know so we can have a conversation about it. Like, we're trying to be open and honest and respectful about it, and as much as we can. If you have a differing opinion or you're like, no, this is why this wouldn't work, or something like that, we're open to discuss why. As long as we can have a civil conversation and we're not just bashing each other, I'm always open for other people's opinions. Well, even that we were talking about where they had like maybe you have volunteer veterans or something like that, or volunteer parents.
I think that was someone had brought that up, or like there was a group that said like we will go to the school and help like with security if needed.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of people who retire from military or police or even just civilians who are like, yeah, I'll go to the school and make sure nothing happens, or if something happens or I see something suspicious, then we'll call immediately. Like, it's small stuff like that.
The extra security it makes so much sense coming from like, yes, extra protection. Then it also increases job in the it opens up jobs in the economy.
Well, we're not even talking about like military based security. It's just like, hey, maybe we should have more eyes on the kids just to make sure nothing happens.
It just makes so much sense. And like I said, the funding about it is a weak conversation. The state gives out so much money for a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
How about we throw some money to protect our kids? I'm paying taxes for what? Like, for what else? If I know a couple of my dollars are gonna go help, pay for some more security at the school to where like my cousins could go, my friends' kids could go. Like, yes, I would want my my people to be protected, and that should be how everybody thinks.
Yeah. And if I know last year, like not last year, a couple of years ago when we started the podcast, I contacted like our elected officials. This is something that you should talk to them about. Your elected, like the mayor or whoever's in charge of your school system. Reach out and be like, hey, I noticed that this happened yesterday. What kind of stuff do we have in place where we can improve on? My kid goes to this school. How are we going to make this not a possibility? It's simple stuff like that.
So in MISD, like I talk to people who either work in MISD or got kids to go to MISD. Mm-hmm. Linda Job had a threat maybe a day or two after the Lamar incident about someone's going to show up to school. My friends kept their kids home because although like more likely than not, like it was some kids trying to be like little assholes and play around, they're not going to take that risk with their kids. Why would they? Yeah. Like it's not, if like someone got airdropped that message, like why would you take that risk with your kids? And then at Legacy, I have somebody who I know who's significant other works over there. Mm-hmm. There was an airdrop message about I'm gonna shoot up the school and I'm starting from level 3, working my way down. Like that's ridiculous. It's this shit's stupid.
The more people, the more I was originally going to say the more people that talk about it, the more solutions that we can come up with. But if you go on Twitter and look up the Nashville thing, it's just people arguing about it. They're saying a lot of stuff, but it's nothing constructive. Yeah. They're not even focused on fixing the problem. It's just like, oh, well, your opinion's dumb because you believe in this. Your opinion's dumb because you believe in this. You voted for Trump. So like, I'm not listening to what you have to say. It's so ridiculous. If we could just put each other's differences aside and be like, hey, how do we prevent people from coming in schools and shooting like children, teachers? Like, how do we make that more difficult or impossible? Let's just put aside each other's differences and try to figure it out.
People are lazy. You put extra steps to deteriorate people. A lot of people aren't going to go through with it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, the harder you make it for someone, I'm not saying like things will still happen. No matter what you do, things will still happen. But the more protections you can put on things, the more it's going to deteriorate people because people are lazy, especially in this day and age. Everything is so quick to them. If you make it just a little bit harder, it's going to stop something. Someone's life is going to be saved no matter what.
Well, even when you think about like criminals, like petty theft and stuff like that, typically, if you look at, and this is just off the top of my head, guys, just if I get everything, if I get it wrong, just let me know. But the more you make it difficult for a criminal to victimize you, they will look for other means that is easier. If you keep your car empty, if you keep, you make it more difficult to get into your house, you have a security system, or you have, dogs there, or there's people coming and going in your house all the time. You have security cameras, or the next door neighbor who leaves his car on, and when he's going to get something inside, he always leaves his door locked. He never, turns on his lights at night. Who's he going to go for more? Yeah. It's like there are certain steps, like logical steps that you can go and take to make it more difficult to do something terrible. And this is, I can't even imagine the families like right now. I don't.
Man. There's nothing you could tell me to make me even feel like a little bit better if I was them.
Yeah, so that's what pretty much we have our thoughts on it. It's just something's got to change.
Yeah, this is it. The time for talking is past already. It's time to put some type of action in place.
Yeah, whatever your beliefs are, like, if there's any noble cause to put our petty bullshit aside and try to come up with a solution, it should be this.
Yeah.
If you have a differing opinion on our thoughts, we are open to discuss it. Leave a comment. Even if you don't want to like have a conversation, leave a comment. We'll talk about it next time. We by no means think that we are the experts on anything. But you know, we got to have this conversation to figure out like something to get better. Just it has to be done.
Yeah.
We appreciate all you guys that watch, listen, give us feedback. It means a lot to us. If you stuck with us this far, then we, especially this episode, we appreciate it.
Tough topic.
Because I know it was a tough one. We'll see you guys in the next one. Shit, I don't even know how to end it.
Yeah. Yeah, be safe.
Yeah. You guys don't take your family for granted. You guys try to stay as safe as you can.
If you got kids, tell them you love them. Hug them.
Yep. And you guys stay safe out there. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.